Hi, welcome to Cultivating Keepsakes. I'm Eden, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're making some patriotic decor. First, I took this piece of sign that I got from Dollar Tree. Well, I got the whole sign from Dollar Tree, but I cut it down. And then I used my Dixie Belle paint in the color Fluff to paint the edge where I had cut it down. And I only needed to paint the edge because it matched pretty well with the sides. Then I set that to the side to dry, and I got out a star that I got from Dollar Tree that came on a dowel. And sorry, jeez. I used my same Dixie Belle paint to paint the edges of the star and the dowel rod. And then I set that to the side to dry as well. And I got back out the piece we were working on earlier. I had cut down some scrapbook paper to fit and then took it over to my sewing machine and sewed around the edges. I do it just like I would sew on fabric. Same needle, same tension, same everything. And I didn't really pay attention to it being perfectly straight. I didn't really care. I just feel like it gives it some character. And I like the sewing because it gives it texture. But it's obviously optional. You don't have to do that. And you could also just do little dashes around it with a Sharpie if you want the look but don't want to sew. And then I took my Elmer's glue stick and I put it on real good and smoothed it down real good. I've never had a problem with that coming off. And it doesn't wrinkle and bubble like Mod Podge does, so I prefer it. I use it for almost everything. And then I took my second star from Dollar Tree and I used my In the Navy by Apple Barrel acrylic paint. And I did the same thing that I did to the first star. I painted the sides and the dowel rod. And then I used Folk Art in Fire Engine Red to do the third star. Same exact thing, paint the edges, paint the dowel rod. And then I let them all dry really well. Once they were dry, I had these little faux sprinkles that I got from, well, some of them came from Temu and some from Amazon. Those ones were from Temu. And then I used my DIY liquid patina and my little diamond painting tool. And I painted the sides of the stars with the liquid patina so that it would basically essentially glue the faux sprinkles on. And then I put 3 little faux sprinkle stars on each edge of the star. And I went all the way around the star doing that, trying to, line them up. And then I did the same exact thing with the red star. And for the white star, since the white star's sprinkles wouldn't show up, I used some faux sprinkles that I got from Amazon. They're little heart flags. And for those ones, they were a little bigger than the stars, so I just did 2 on each edge of the star. And I also coated all of the dowel rods with the liquid patina to seal them. And I did a couple coats of that. There I am doing the red star. Just I got really ahead of myself. But yeah, and then those are the little heart sprinkles I was talking about. Well, faux sprinkles. And then the liquid patina, put on the sprinkles. Boom. When it was all dry, I took my Waverly Antique Wax and I started using the wax brush at first and applied it to the front and the back of the stars. And then I ended up using a wet wipe, and then I went back to the wax brush, and then I kind of used a combination of both because I found that that worked better. And I just gave them all a really good coat. And then I got these 3 jars from the Target Dollar Spot a while ago. And I used my archival ink in red and some clickable stamps that I got from Temu. And these little tags, they actually came on little honey jars and they said thank you. And I just took them and glued 2 together with the thank yous facing in. And then I stamped each one of the little tags. There was 3 of them, 1 for each bottle, with the words home and of and the. And then I took some twine from Dollar Tree This one was the white one that's mixed with like the twine color, and then they have the red and the blue. They actually came from the nautical or shore living part of Dollar Tree, but I think they look very patriotic. And I attached the tags and then tied it in a little bow. Again, in case you've never been here, I like to do the rabbit ears and tie my bows upside down. I think it gives me a better look. And so that's what I did. And then I just adjusted it and cut off the tails where I thought I wanted them. And then I did this with all 3 jars, just using the different colors of twine. And looking back, I wish that I had done them in a different order because the blue ended up with the blue, but that's neither here nor there because what's done is done. And then I kind of glued down the tails to make them look better and so they weren't all stuck out everywhere. And then I got back out that little piece of sign and I took these letters that I had painted red with my Posca paint pen or paint marker, and they spelled out the word brave, and I hot glued those to the side of the sign. And then I used liquid nails and hot glue, a combination, to attach the bottles to the little sign piece, or I guess what now is like a pedestal. And I just tried to line this one up in the center so that the other two would be evenly spaced on the sides. And I just did it with all 3 bottles. And then I didn't have enough white sand, so I first poured in green sand in each bottle. Got a little too much in that one, I had to dump it out. And then I took the white sand that I did have and I put it on top of the green sand so that that would be what you've seen if you've seen the sand. And I put some of that in. And then I added my stars to the jar, and I actually ended up cutting them down because I thought they were too big. But I really hope you like it. Please let me know in the comments. I hope you have a great day. Bye.